Hey, welcome to one of many topics. I assume you probably came here from the 52 subscriber special, or a friend sent us to you for reasons I don't fucking know. But I want to kind of describe a little bit more what this channel is going to be about, because there are certain things I left out of that other one, because I didn't want me YouTube to bunk me. Um, so, other than this just being a thing where I'm going to basically talk about my perspective on certain events that happen, talk about things that I'm really engaged with, get to have a little fucking nerdy freak out, I'm gonna actually record it instead of just, walking around for an hour just ranting to myself. I can record it now and make it so other people have to listen to it. Yeah. um, or in case it's about me and my personal history, because I've gone through a lot of fuck shit, and personally, I think that, talking about my own history of fuck shit and realizing that that shit is fucked should hopefully be able to help some other people realize that their situations are maybe not the best, actually. Um, I'm also going to be more talking about something that's more on my Twitter. I'm a very large proponent for healthy BDSM. And as somebody who didn't know much about BDSM going in, I only learned about it with a relationship with my ex. I want to be able to give good advice and also point out certain parts of the BDSM community that are really fucking toxic. To be also clear, I myself am not somebody who's done bondage. I am not a sadist, nor am I a masochist, so I won't be talking about those aspects. I'll be more talking about dominance and submission and different minor kinks where there's one fucking kink where it's like, the best way I can describe it to people which are somewhat aware of kink type of shit. Basically imagine Christian Grey was taken as like the Holy Bible for a kink. And for those who don't know that character, that's 50 Shades, which has a lot of fucked abusive bullshit. um, that's inside that, and it's presented as normal and healthy and good, and that's a certain kink which I'm into, which oh boy, they really like the public facets of that are so fucking toxic and bad and not great. Oh my god. So I'm probably gonna make a video specifically talking about that one. And on type of concepts which I've learned that people just don't naturally know as much. To give an example, um, I used to call these sub drops, but I've learned that that is a term used by other people for, when somebody is, dropping out of submission and it's a lot for them emotionally in that session and they need, aftercare. The same thing goes for Dom drops because it feels weird that I have to say this, but yes, Doms do deserve fucking aftercare. My god, that shouldn't have to be something that's said, but apparently a lot of people need to hear it. Both of you are human. Both of you need sometimes a little comfort after you've been through shit. um, secondly, um, the other type of thing, which I guess I will more recently more call it, will be intoxication on submission or dominance, or another way, a sub high or a dom high. Now, what I more mean by that term, and I'll talk a little bit about my own experiences. I've talked a little bit about this on Twitter, but I was, even though I was very new to submission and dominance, I was very, very good at dominance, let's just say. And I'm naturally a lot more dominant than I am submissive, even if I am a switch. Um, and unfortunately, for me, I also got very lucky. Since I was a beginner, didn't realize just how good I was. And that was a problem. Um, a lot of people got so heavily into subspace when I was doming them that even though I did consent checks, normally ones, which were like, hey, I'm going to do this thing to you. Are you okay with that? And, normally, especially for a beginner, that should be enough, right? After all, they should be able to answer yes or no. And they should be conscious enough for that. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I was, and I don't mean this as a brag or some bullshit. I was just too good at putting people into subspace where they would say yes to anything. They would say yes to things that they wouldn't even normally say yes to. And while I was lucky in the sense that I read people good enough that You know, luckily, at least from what they told me, I didn't get them into any bad kinks or kinks that they didn't like. Um, I could have. And that's pretty fucked. And the main reason is because those people were so high on submission that they would have agreed to anything, as I said. If somebody who had a phobia about being, like, degraded or something like that, it's possible they wouldn't have snapped out of it or had an aversion towards it. Because they were just so heavily into subspace that, well, they couldn't really consent. Um, because, and this is why I also use the term high, because the best way I can more describe this is there's a certain level of drunkenness where somebody can still consent to things. The problem more being that you don't know from an outsider perspective just how drunk or somebody really is. After all, tolerance training is just you being able to fake acting normal better. Um, you don't get less drunk the more that you're used to drinking. You're still as drunk, and your judgment is as faulty. You're just, again, better able to act under the effects of being drunk. You're more able to act normal. The same thing goes for subby highs. Some people can act really normal during them, and a lot of times it just seems like they're really subby. It's hard to pick up when somebody's on a subby high. And, eventually I was able to pick it up, and I'm able to more accurately tell now that I know what the signs are, but back then I didn't know. And I got very, very fucking lucky that I didn't hurt anyone. And by explaining the concepts of sub-highs to people, it's one of the reasons why I do firm consent checks, which are basically more that I wait a few seconds for somebody to come back to reality. I ask them questions. I make it so that way they have to engage with me as a person, instead of just saying yes. I force basically the sub to say more than yes or no, to basically check, hey, are you still there behind the lights? And that seems to have been a method that works really well for me. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people are surprised by the concept of a subby high, even if it makes sense. After all, any emotion that you're going through is chemicals through your brain, and any chemical you can get high off of. That includes the chemicals that more make you feel submissive or dominant. And you have to be aware of being able to call those stuff out, because in that state, a sub or dom can be taken advantage of. Or a sub or dom, if they go way too hard in that state, could accidentally take advantage of you. Um, because, they're not fully conscious. Their self-restraint is gone, which, doesn't completely absolve somebody from the things they do, to be clear, but they're also not fully them. And you need to be able to tell when that's the case and when somebody's, either faking it, or B, that they're more doing something out of desperation. And those are hard to fucking tell. But at least knowing that it exists, if you've listened to this audio so far, can help you out on a lot of things. And while that concept became pretty ingrained for me, I, have played with some people which didn't know the concept, as I more described it to them. So that's why I wanted to throw that in as a little piece of advice to pad this video a little bit more. So it's not just a, hey, hi, I'm here. I will also be making one more video after this that's more, less on the BDSM stuff, which is going to be more about one of my conditions, because I'll be more revealing that condition in the other video. But man, I've gotten some weird ass fucking treatment. The best way I can kind of describe it is me, as a white girl, have been kind of treated like one of the good ones, fucking online. And, me being able to say that, that I've been treated as one of the good ones. And I know how that feels. Like, that's really, really fucked, actually. And I kind of get it, because most people get their impressions of some of my conditions from, media or social media, even worse. And for that reason, I want to talk about some of the conditions that I have, which somebody may assume makes me fucking automatically evil, because that isn't the case, actually. And I want to talk about those ones and explain how they actually affect me, because maybe with some more information, I won't be treated as one of the good ones by people just assuming that anyone with these conditions would be evil. You know, you know. Um, I think that's all that I'm going to be doing for this little intro into this channel. I'm going to be recording that, and then, I think I'm gonna be taking a break. But anyway, bye-bye for now. I hope you girls have a fun time, and I hope that you girls enjoy listening to me talk about other bullshit. Anyway, au revoir.